What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sports Talk with Hawk on this beautiful Friday. Why is it beautiful? Because the NFL schedule release came out and actually gave us something to truly talk about. I have been looking at the schedules. I have watched most all of the schedule release videos. And I have already started making some tweaks to my fantasy football teams based off of the matchups that are going to take place, when, and where. So for today, really simple. We're going to get basketball and we're going to get hockey out of the way. I haven't done a podcast for a while. I am going to have Boom back on next week. Hopefully either Monday or Tuesday, have him on to be able to talk about hockey and everything that has happened, especially with how exciting everything has been. Last night, Vegas finally got by the Ducks and knocked them out with a series victory, 4-2. And then Montreal is currently up on Buffalo, 3-2 in that series, heading into game number 6. So right now, that's the only series we're waiting on is Montreal and Buffalo. Winner of that series will take on Carolina. The Knights get to go and take on Colorado in the conference finals matchup. And hockey has been very exciting to watch. The overtime games, the goals, the different stories that have happened, the deflections, the different calls. It's been wonderful in hockey. And in my opinion, it's actually been a lot better than basketball. Basketball right now, Lakers got swept, Sixers got swept. Tonight we got both game 6s. Cleveland and San Antonio could come back and, could come out tonight and win both of them. The Knicks and Thunder have been waiting. The NBA needs the New York Knicks to win the East, I believe. Because as of right now, nobody thinks anything from the East could even compete. And I don't know if the Knicks could really compete or not. I don't know if it's a lot of smoke and mirrors or not. I do know they've been on a heater, and I'll give them that. That's 100% true. But the reality is we're all looking forward to Spurs versus Thunder. And whether it's the Spurs versus Knicks or Pistons versus Knicks, it would be at least watched because of it being New York. And just because of it being New York, they would be in a better position. Cleveland, I don't think, would really get much. Detroit, maybe. But really, New York, they need New York to be able to pull out the win in the Eastern Conference Finals and head back to the NBA Finals. How the NBA Finals goes doesn't really matter. A New York team is going to be there. I did not have the reaction after last Sunday's horrendous debacle of a draft. For those of you that want to know what the draft is like, Brian Windhorst did a great column on how the draft lottery actually works. And I'll tell you right now, the way that everything played out, how he wrote that entire story, that was the first time he had been backstage. The first time he had been allowed into the lottery room. That is something. The way they do it, there were 1,001 combinations of how that draft order could have played out. I like it. Do I like the NBA lottery system? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I do not like the NBA lottery system. The lottery doesn't, to me, it doesn't work unless you're just going to make it even. Everybody has the same odds across the board, and you play them all out. That I can respect a lot more. Take away the opportunity to be up. I do like the 3-2-1 tanking initiative that they're going after, but we'll see how it goes. But that's it. We're not going to worry about any of that right now because we got football. We've got football. We also have WNBA basketball. But we have football to go over. So I was already working on my fantasy stuff last night. And super excited for that. You know, I've got plenty of leagues. But I take notice of a lot of different things. So what we're going to do first, we're going to go through the prime time games. I did this last year. If you guys remember, the schedule released last year. I did this last year. We're going to do that again. So here are the Thursday night football games. Now, these are the ones that are going to be on Prime. Week 1 is the Rams and the 49ers. That's week number 1. Week number 2, the Bills open up new Highmark Stadium against the Detroit Lions. That is week number 2. Week number 3, the Falcons are at the Green Bay Packers. Week 4, Steelers at the Browns. Week 5 is the Buccaneers at the Cowboys. Week 6 is the Seattle Seahawks at the Denver Broncos. New England at Chicago in Week 7. Carolina at Green Bay in Week 8. Week 9 has Jacksonville at Baltimore. Week 10 is Washington at New York. Indianapolis travels to Houston in Week 11. Denver goes to Pittsburgh in Week 12. Kansas City heads to face the Rams in Los Angeles in Week 13. Minnesota at New England, Week 14. San Francisco at the Chargers, Week 15. Houston at Philadelphia on Christmas Eve in Week 16. And then Week 17, Baltimore at Cincinnati. Your Sunday night football schedule. Week number 1, Dallas at New York. Big opening week. Indianapolis at Kansas City, Week 2. Rams at Denver, Week 3. Detroit at Carolina. Baltimore and Atlanta in Week 5. Dallas at Green Bay. Kansas City goes to Seattle in Week 7. Philadelphia at the Commanders. Buccaneers at the Bears. The Steelers go to Cincinnati in Week 10. Week 11 is Minnesota at San Francisco. That's the game that's in Mexico. Kansas City is at Buffalo, Week 12. New England at the Chargers, Week 12 as well. Kansas City at Buffalo is the Thanksgiving game. They've got a Sunday Night Football. It's the NBC games. That's what it is. So New England at the Chargers is Week 12's actual Sunday Night Football game. Houston at Pittsburgh. Buffalo at Green Bay. They're in Week 14. Detroit at Minnesota, Week 15. Jacksonville at Dallas, 16. Eagles in San Francisco in Week 17. Obviously waiting because everything in Week 18 is currently in flux. So now we go to the Monday Night Football schedule. And this year they got rid of the double Monday night games. So they open up Denver at Kansas City. Week number 2 is the Giants at the Rams. Eagles at Bears. Falcons at Saints. Buffalo at the Rams in week number 5. Commanders at the 49ers in week 6. Dallas at Philadelphia. Chicago at Seattle. Buffalo at Minnesota in week 9. Chargers at the Ravens. Bengals at the Commanders. Panthers at the Buccaneers in week 12. Cowboys at Seattle. Steelers at Jacksonville. New England at Kansas City. In week 16, you have the Giants at the Lions. In week 17, you have the Texans at Green Bay. And that is the last Monday Night Football game that there will be. So there are your prime time games. Now what I want to do is I want to go through and I want to give you some of the initial thoughts that I had based off of how the schedule played out. Number one thing I see, the NFL loves the Rams. The Rams start out Thursday Night Football in Australia. Week 2, Monday Night Football. Week 3, Sunday Night Football. Week 4 is the first week that the Rams are not on primetime. They open the year with 3 primetime slots. 3. Now, the way that these teams are set up, it's really big. It's really big to have to move around a ton. It really is. And I was looking at individual team schedules, and that one, I noticed that because they're on prime time so much. Then, excuse me, I was looking at another team. Excuse me. The Atlanta Falcons. In my opinion, this is one of the teams that I want to watch this year because, in my opinion, the Falcons got a very good scheduling break. Very good scheduling break. And here's what I'm talking about. Week number 1, they're on the road at Pittsburgh. That is week 1. Week number 3, they're on the road in Green Bay. So they get Pittsburgh and Green Bay. A dome team from Atlanta gets Pittsburgh and Green Bay road games in September. To me, that is a huge, huge plus. Now, they still go on the road in December. They have back-to-back weeks where they are at Cleveland and they are at Washington in December 13th and December 20th. But the Washington game, I'll give you that one. I think that one will be a good game just because of the two teams. But you get to face Cleveland in December. That's not Green Bay. Now, we don't know what's happening. Okay, we don't know what's going on in Pittsburgh. The stories are coming out that Rodgers is planning on being the quarterback. But he's not there, but they know he's there, but he's in hiding. It's really weird, as usual, with Rodgers. And it's because Pittsburgh has no personnel manager right now. But looking at this schedule, I like it. In my opinion, Kevin Stefanski gets to come out and gets to really start building very, very quickly the way he wants his offense. Now, I do believe the NFL knows what they're doing. I really do. because they put Kevin Stefanski at Pittsburgh week number 1. Kevin Stefanski has beaten the Pittsburgh Steelers with the Cleveland Browns with a worse roster, worse organization multiple times. And now he's in Atlanta, and the NFL is like, here, you know how to beat them. Let's put you against them week number 1. The Packers are notoriously slow starters. The Falcons play Carolina week 2, at Green Bay in week number 3 on Thursday Night Football. I believe the Falcons got a good scheduling break. Now, they do have a stretch where it's going to really test what they can do. Starting in week 5, you have home against Baltimore, home against the Bears, home against the 49ers. At Tampa Bay, home against the Cincinnati game is overseas, and then they come back and they're home against Kansas City. Their bye week is week 11. I like that for this team. I really do. For this team, this year, I like a week 11 bye week for them. Now, I wish it was a week earlier. I wish it was week 10. I don't like teams that are coming back and not going on bye week immediately. You're coming back and you're playing Kansas City. And that's week 10. Mahomes is going to be back. I think that is a horrible mistake. Horrible mistake. But we'll see what happens. But they do have a stretch that is a pretty good gauntlet right there. That 6-game stretch, to me, is going to make or break their season. If they can go 3-3 in that stretch, or 4-2, I think they look pretty darn good for the rest of the year. I really do. I think this Falcon team, Jeff Ulbrich, will have that defense locked in. I think A.J. Terrell and Avrion Terrell are going to become a very good 1-2 punch in that secondary at corner. Jesse Bates will have fun roaming as a free safety. And I do like how Atlanta's schedule is set up. Now, a team that you got to notice, they did not win their division last year. They lost their division. So they get the second schedule. The Buffalo Bills. And they open up. This is their opening 5 weeks. At Houston week 1. Home against Detroit to open up Highmark Stadium. Home against the Chargers. Home against New England. At the Rams on Monday Night Football. That is a rough first schedule for a new regime. My thoughts are very simply, escape from that 3-2, it does get easier. Their hardest game is and the rest of the schedule is probably at Denver on Christmas. They're home against the Jets in week 18. So we're not going to have a Patriots-Bills game in week 18 to decide anything for sure. I mean, we'll see where everything's at, but the schedule really looks good. Week 6 is at the Raiders. Week 7 is a bye week. I like it. I like it. Because Joe Brady and Jim Leonard are going to be bringing in the schemes they fully want. The more and more stories that come out, the more and more I fully believe Sean McDermott had lost all belief from the top. And he felt he had already lost the belief, and he started messing up as a head coach. things were not making sense. So, with that, new defensive change. They're moving to a 34. The way that this season's going to be able to play out, that bye week at week 7 gives them the ability to get ready. Get everything fine-tuned for week 8. Week 8, they come out of that bye week. They're home against Baltimore. Coming off of a bye, they play Baltimore, one of their bigger games. That, to me, is an amazing stretch. Kansas City, Thursday night football, Thanksgiving week. They're home against Kansas City. The way this team plays out, the way everything's going to play out, I do. I like how the Bills' schedule lines up. Get through those first 6 weeks at 4-2, and I think Buffalo could easily be off and running. All right, so let's go look at some of the other. Let's go look at the schedules for some of the rest of the new teams. Arizona Cardinals, they're in trouble. They are in a lot of trouble. New head coach. And the offensive line they got another year to build it, but they got weapons. But this is their opening schedule. At the Chargers, Seahawks, at the Niners, at the Giants, Lions, at the Rams, Denver. Those are your first 7 weeks to this season. Oh, yeah, it doesn't get easier. At Dallas week 8, at Seattle week 9, home against Rams in week 10. My over-under for the Cardinals, I have got to be brutally honest with you, is 2. And I don't know where the 2 is. They're home against the Jets in week 15 coming out of a bye week. That right there is the first area I see a victory. They've got pieces. I don't know about the head coach. They don't have the quarterback they need. They're drafting in 2027. We know that's what they're doing. This is bad. I mean, it is bad. Arizona, to me, is staring down at best, a 2-15 season. At best. Possibly 1-16. It's really hard to go winless in the NFL now. Their schedule sucks. It does. Their schedule sucks badly. So I feel bad for Arizona. That's definitely not the start you want. Now, let's go to Cleveland. Ted Monken, who I don't really believe in necessarily. But nonetheless, their schedule, the second half, so their bye week is week 11. The second half of their schedule looks a little interesting. They get home games against the Raiders, Bengals, Falcons, back to back to back. At Giants, at Baltimore, home against the Colts in week 17. Then at Cincinnati in week 18. They had an amazing 2025 draft. In my opinion, they had a very, very good 2026 draft. But this team is going to go as the quarterback goes. Whether it's Deshaun Watson, Gabriel, Shedeur, whichever of those it is, this team is going to go as they go. Now, I believe they're playing for 27. I believe they're full-heartedly going for 2027 to get one of the quarterbacks. They've got more W's on their schedule than the Cardinals do. Cardinals just don't have a lot. It's just the reality. The Cardinals don't have a lot. So, Cleveland Browns' schedule isn't horrible, but it's definitely not the easiest. All right, looking at the Las Vegas Raiders' schedule, I do like what they did. They gave a Week 1 game, the Raiders, open up Week 1 against the Miami Dolphins. That is probably the best game they could have given Fernando Mendoza to open up. The NFL does not want Kirk Cousins starting. And I don't want, it's a bad precedent, and we don't need to do it now. We just don't. It is a horrible precedent to be not starting a number 1 pick. That, to me, would be a travesty. A botching again by the Raiders if they were to wait on Fernando Mendoza starting. No reason for it. You open up against the Dolphins. That could be his best game all year. Their schedule, I do believe, their post-bye week schedule, I believe they could end up going 3-2 in their post-bye week schedule. I think what's going to happen is they're going to start getting things figured out by the time their bye week happens in week 13. Their final 5 games are home against the Chargers, home against the Broncos, home against the Titans, at Arizona, and at Kansas City to close out the year. I think they can go 3-2 in that stretch. After the bye week, I fully believe they could end up with 6 wins. Now, I have not done the over-unders yet for win totals. I have not gone into all my bets yet. I'm actually going to work on that today. And then I will get all those set up for next week. But I could see this team going 5-11 or 5-12 or 6-11. The schedule's tough. Schedule is tough, but I think they're going to be really competitive. The team that I don't think is going to be competitive at all, and that's because it's currently the worst roster, and it will be the youngest roster in the NFL, the Miami Dolphins. Listen, they're just bad. This year is a complete cap rebuild. They've got dead cap money all over the place. Over $110 million in dead cap. They've got a bunch of rookies. Some of what we saw, like there are people like, they overdrafted Caden Proctor. Okay. Maybe by 5 to 8 picks, maybe. But I'll tell you what, the interior of that offensive line gives you the ability to run. You have Achane, who you just signed to they just re-signed to a 4-year extension. I don't have a problem with the Caden Proctor pick. He's big. It's an offensive line pick. People will slightly jump on Pittsburgh for overdrafting the tackle from Arizona State. But Miami just did the same thing. There were a lot of people that thought Proctor was going to end up with Detroit because they needed the guard. They need the guard. And they thought Proctor was slated to go to Detroit. So, yeah, was he overdrafted by, 7 to 10 picks? Sure. But you get the offensive lineman you want. It's nothing like what Minnesota did with Caleb Banks, who was a 3-round reach. Like, get off of them. The Dolphins knew what they needed to do. Dolphins knew how things were going to be, and they did exactly what they needed to do. Now, their schedule doesn't do them any favors because they get a bye week in week 6, and they got a long stretch to close out the year. They really do. So, in my opinion, Miami and Arizona will be fighting for the number 1 and number 2 picks this year. Absolutely will. All right, another team that has a new coach everybody's excited about, the New York Football Giants. They don't have a bad schedule before the bye week. First 7 weeks, home against Dallas, at the Rams, home against the Titans, home against the Cardinals, at Washington, home against the Saints, and at Houston. I believe at the end of those 7 weeks, heading into a bye week, they could easily be 4-3. I really believe they could be 4-3. Now, coming out of that bye week, it's a little bit harder. At Philadelphia, Washington, Jacksonville, at Indianapolis, we'll see what that ends up being. San Francisco, and at Seattle. They do have winnable games. They do. But they will have to scratch and claw for some of them. But I think they could be 4-3 heading into that bye week. And to me, that will be a success. That will be a very big success, especially for them. All right, so we move from the New York Football Giants, and we're going to head over to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay. Their schedule is split in half. Their bye week is week 9. Perfectly in the middle. They do play an overseas game against the Saints. They do have Sunday Night Football at Cincinnati coming out of their bye week. They've got the Friday game the week of Thanksgiving. They're the Black Friday game against Denver. And I'll be honest with you, they play Baltimore twice in the last 4 weeks again. This team, though, if they don't get wins early, I don't see them getting wins. Once again, they have the number 1 most expensive defense in the league. And that is with an offensive coach now with questionable issues at quarterback. They do have Michael Pittman to be able to help with DK Metcalf. They have Rico Dowdle to help Jaylen Warren. The offensive line, I'm still questioning. See if it can hold up. I think the first half of the year, they'll be first 8 weeks, they could go 5-3. And then the final 9 weeks, they could go 3-6. And they could end up 8-9 very easily or worse. Because it's just, there's a lot of questions with Pittsburgh. But they do have an easier first part of their schedule. Opening up with Atlanta, new coach. It helps. The reality is, you open up with a team that has a new football coach, it automatically helps you. It gives you that ability to, everything is new. They're working into stuff just like you are. All right, Tennessee Titans. Robert Saleh, the NFL knows exactly what they're doing because they put the Titans hosting the Jets in week number 1. At home. Robert Saleh era opens with the Jets at home. Then they got the Eagles at home. Their bye week is week 9 as well. And I tell you what, if they can start getting something going, they've got that opportunity to hover around the 7 or 8 win area again. Week 5 is their first division game, home against Houston, at Indianapolis in week 6. They play Jacksonville in week 10 and 12. Their next game at home against Indianapolis is December 20th, before Christmas. Indianapolis at Tennessee, and then they close at Houston. So the AFC South is Jacksonville against Indianapolis and Tennessee versus Houston to close out the year. So let's go over let's go over that for a second. So let's look at week 18 now. That's what I want to do. Let's go look at week 18. Because remember, they set this up purposely. Some of these games are set up purposely. These are all currently to be determined. These are all flexible games. So here are the matchups. Jets at Bills. Oh, gosh. The Bills are 10-point favorites right now. Bills are 10-point favorites right now. All right. Browns at Bengals. Chargers at Denver. Detroit at Green Bay. Jacksonville at Indianapolis. Vegas at Kansas City. Then you've got Seattle at the Rams. Chicago at Minnesota. Miami at New England. Tampa Bay at New Orleans. That is a sneaky game. That's a very sneaky game. Philadelphia at the Giants. San Francisco at Arizona. Dallas at Washington. Don't sleep on that game yet. Pittsburgh at Baltimore. Atlanta at Carolina. The way the NFC South is, both those NFC South games, again, could matter. And then the Titans at the Texans. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games that really, in my opinion, could directly impact the playoffs. Just looking at it right now, nothing else going on, could directly impact the playoffs in Week 18. Now, what is one of my gripes? What is one of my gripes? Well, really simple. The bye weeks have to be fixed. One of my biggest complaints, concerns, gripes when it comes to the NFL schedule. Can we please get the bye weeks done before Thanksgiving? In week 14, with 15, 16, 17, only 4 weeks left to go in the season, we have 2 teams on bye in week 14. The Dallas Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals. I'm tired of bye weeks stretching 9 weeks. Now, nobody is off for Thanksgiving. They are much smarter this year about that. Finally, nobody's off Thanksgiving week. If that's the case, get them done. Weeks 5 through 11, get all of your teams on bye week. Get them all done. Week 12, Thanksgiving week. Everybody's playing. It's the final stretch of the season. The trade deadline was only 2 weeks prior. Make the season end the same for everybody. It's better for the competition, and I know they do care. Because the money in fantasy football has gone through the roof. So they do slightly care because fantasy football has exploded. A fantasy player is hating these bye weeks in week 13 and 14 when you're fighting for position in the playoffs. That game, I was talking with Big J about this last night. That game, potentially a healthy Dak Prescott, Javonte Williams, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson, and the Cowboys defense. That's just from Dallas. 6 potential fantasy starters are on bye week in the final week of most regular seasons, meaning you still got to manage around this. But the Cardinals, Trey McBride, Jeremiah Love, Marvin Harrison. Listen, Brissett put up fantasy numbers. It was garbage time, but fantasy numbers. If they're going to be bad, I'm expecting garbage time numbers again. Michael Wilson. There's 11 to 12 fantasy relevant players that are on bye week in week 14, the week that you're jockeying, the final week for positioning in fantasy football. Look at what the NFL has created, though. You've got a week 14 slate where not everybody's playing in December. This is absolutely ridiculous. Why in the world? Week 13, there are 4 teams on bye. Colts, Raiders, Jets, Baltimore. How come we couldn't just add Dallas and Arizona to those and get it done? I like the 6-team bye weeks. I do. I fully like the 6-team bye weeks. Get them done. 9 weeks is too gosh darn long for bye weeks. Get them done. Stop worrying. I don't know what they're worried about this year. They're opening bye week. Week 5. Kansas City and Carolina are the only games on bye in week number 5. Why? Give me a break. Why? Give them bye weeks. It makes absolutely no sense. Week 9, there's only 2 teams as well. Week 9, it's the Steelers and the Titans in week 9. Put Dallas and Arizona there. The bye week situation drives me nuts. The bye week situation is bad. Week 11, there are 6 teams on bye week, the week before Thanksgiving. Falcons, Browns, Packers, Rams, Seahawks, Patriots. Listen, I know how to do math, okay? I know how to do math. The reality is if you did 6-team bye weeks, okay, you would only need 6 weeks to be able to do this. You could have 2 weeks where there's only 4. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 big bye weeks. And then you have your opening bye week and closing bye week be 4 teams. That gives you your 32 teams. And you cut it down from week 5 to week 14 to week 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You can play the first 5 games, start bye weeks in week 6, end the bye weeks in week 11. You're done before Thanksgiving, everybody has had their bye week. You have all of your teams playing when the biggest part of the season is trying to get going. The playoff push for these teams, and you're better off. It does. It bugs me fiercely. The bye week setup this year. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. The bye weeks have to be fixed. I'm guessing it's based off of the media deals. They're worried about the money. I will take 3 less games. Well, 2 less games for 2 weeks, 3 less games for 4 weeks, so that I can have all 16 games starting Thanksgiving week through the rest of the year. Week 12 onwards is all the teams. That's what I believe. That's what I believe should have happened. And to me, that is the biggest concern and gripe that I have, is how they did the bye weeks. Week 14 is too late for a bye week. I'm sorry, it's just too late for a bye week. And they need to do better next year. They really need to do better next year. All right. So let's close this out here. We're going to look at the strength of schedule. This is according to the 2025 NFL records. Okay? So this is based off of last year's records. The hardest schedule is the Chicago Bears. They do have a gauntlet of a schedule. They do. Now, right behind them, unfortunately, is 2 teams that are rebuilding, that have an equal opportunity chance of getting the number 1 pick, the Miami Dolphins and the Arizona Cardinals. It will be rough. Those 2 teams, if they get 2 wins, will be impressive, in my opinion. I think it'll be very impressive. In my opinion, that will be a successful feat. 4th, you have the Green Bay Packers. 5th is the Kansas City Chiefs. Raiders are 7th. Bills are 8th. Chargers are 9. And the Panthers round out the top 10. The Vikings, Jets, Rams, Seahawks, Broncos are the next 5 to 15. The Commanders are at 16, with the Giants being the first team that's a below 500 number at number 17. They have a flip-flopped win-loss record of their 2025 opponents. 49ers are 18, Steelers are 19, Cowboys are 20th. 21st is the Buccaneers, followed by the Jaguars, the Eagles, the Ravens, and the Titans at number 25. The Houston Texans are at 26, the Lions 27, Falcons are 28, Indianapolis Colts are 29, Bengals are 30, Saints are 31, and the Browns are 32. What does this mean to me? Well, it's really, really simple. We're going to go to the Indianapolis Colts for a second. According to last year's records, they've got one of the top 5 easiest schedules. The problem is, 2 of those teams that make the schedule look good, Washington and Tennessee, will not be that bad. I ran this down last night with Big J, so here we go. Week number 1, opening against Baltimore. My belief is Daniel Jones will not be ready to play till week 7. He will be on at least the PUP list. He may only be out for 4 weeks. For argument's sake, let's just do the 4 weeks. and we'll go from there. How about that? So let's just say the first 4 weeks. Baltimore at Kansas City, home against Houston, and then the overseas game against Washington. If Jayden Daniels is healthy, that is an 0-4 stretch. It's that simple. Now, let's say Daniel Jones comes back week 5 against Pittsburgh. We're already 0-4. We come back at Pittsburgh, home against Tennessee, at Minnesota, at Jacksonville, home against Dallas, home against Miami. The reality is, if Daniel Jones was going to be out 6 weeks, okay, if he gets put on the PUP and he's out 6 weeks, we could be staring down Jones coming back against the Vikings on the road and Jacksonville on the road. The Colts very easily could be staring down a 0-8 year to start everything. Home against Dallas will depend on the health of Dak Prescott. Home against Miami, hallelujah, in week 10 we have a victory for sure. So I know we will not be 0-10. Even if it's Riley Leonard, I know in week 10 we'll get the victory over the Dolphins. At Houston on Thursday Night Football, the Giants in week 12, our bye week is week 13. Again, another team that did not take the bye week after going overseas. I don't think it's going to be great. I don't like it when teams do that. I think it is one of the dumbest things. I really do. I really do. So, I don't know what to think of theirs. I really don't. I don't know what to do with the Colts. I don't. I wish I did, but I don't. I don't. Oh, we'll see. We'll see. All right. So let's close this out. And I want to talk about what happened in the NBA draft lottery and close this out from a Pacer fan perspective. They are trying to push excitement. Trying to push excitement. Our starting 5, our projected starting 5 for next year as of right now, Halliburton, Nembhard, Nesmith, Siakam, and Zubac. Obi Toppin coming off the bench with TJ McConnell. Normal stuff, whatever. Pacer fans don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it. Kelvin Pritchard came out, said, I'm sorry to the fans. I really thought we as the Pacers were due some lottery luck. Bullcrap. Come on. This is a generational draft. 15 potential day one starters. 10 for sure. But a lot of people believe there's 15 plug and play. And then the rest of the first round, they could make really big moves. Really big moves as 6-man, 7th-man bench role players. And we don't have a pick in this draft. We lost our second to Memphis and then Jay Huff trade, which was pointless. Pacer fans don't want to hear about it. They don't. They don't want to hear about it. I don't. At number 5, I've been watching mock drafts. This is how much this is affecting me. I hate this. At number 5, the Clippers are getting, in most mock drafts, they draft the 6'6" guard from Illinois, Wagler. The other guard that's also sitting there is Kingston Flemings from Houston, which I think is an outstanding guard. This is a guard draft. This is a guard draft. Okay? The draft is so deep. It makes no sense. The draft lottery, learning from Windhorse. Now, these guys are aware of this. That these guys are aware of how the draft lottery works. And to be dumb enough to put the trust in a lottery. Guys, the lottery for the NBA is like the Powerball. I loved reading Windhorse article on it. It's the Powerball. There's 1,001 combinations of how the draft could have played out. Like, and you're going to put the future of the organization into that basket, into a lottery, in one of the deepest drafts we've had in 15 years, and you're going to let that be what happens. The Indianapolis Colts already jacked this up, getting Sauce Gardner and trading away 2 first-round picks. Absolute awful general managing. And I'm going to be on this all offseason. Trade Nembhard. Get that money. Get the money pit off of our starting lineup. He can't handle it if Tyrese is there. He ain't good enough. He is not good enough whatsoever. The lottery played out great for multiple teams. The Chicago Bulls get the 4th pick in this draft, and I think that is great for them. They can potentially get Caleb Wilson, depending on where Memphis goes in front of them, and obviously the Jazz and the Wizards. But I do believe that with that team, the Bulls get a power forward again. In my opinion, really, really strong. If they have the opportunity to draft Cam Boozer, I absolutely would if I'm the Chicago Bulls. His dad obviously played there. This draft right now, as I'm looking at it, so good. It is so good. Chicago Bulls have 2 picks, pick number 4, and a pick from Portland as well at pick 15. They can easily get a starter and I think a really solid bench guy. Memphis has the same thing because they have the Orlando pick from the Desmond Bane trade. They can do the same thing. They really can. Charlotte's got 2 picks. I like the way they can play out. Atlanta's got some deep picks. The reality is, when you take a risk the way that Kevin Pritchard did for the Pacers, you're gonna have to listen. I thought it was one of the dumbest trades when it happened. I love getting Zubac, but I thought the movement on the draft pick was just wrong. And the Clippers knew what they were doing. And the Clippers are set to compete. Mathurin, they're going to work on the extension. They're going to get another player to be able to play wing player, guard. Clippers look good. The Pacers are going to run out the same exact lineup that should have been playing all year, that they refused to play, that they tanked, wasted the fans' money, spit in the fans' face, wasted the money for them going to the games, wasted an entire season, and got nothing out of it. This isn't the NFL. You're not getting the easier schedule because of how everything is built. You don't get to be 4th place and play all the 4th place teams. It's not how it works in the NBA. You jacked it up. You ruined the entire year. You botched the whole thing. Pritchard needs to be fired. Everybody in the office needs to be fired because you just screwed up everything you could have had. The future could have been bright. It is for the Clippers now. They've got hope. Shoot, Washington has hope. If Trae Young and Anthony Davis play 65 games apiece, plus the already young core they have, plus the number 1 pick in the draft, they look like they've got hope. We're running out the same exact lineup, just with Tyrese instead of without him, as we did all year, and lost with it. And tanked with it. Do they know how to win again? That's a question. Are these players going to know how to win? Can we get them back into actually trying to make baskets, actually trying to play defense, actually trying to play football? Can we get them back into it? That's my question. Can we do it? Can we do that? That's my question. I don't get it. It's one of the dumbest moves. And Pacers will probably end up making the playoffs. I don't see them as nearly as high of a threat as I would have with a number 5 pick in this draft to be able to replace Nembhard, who's just an absolute atrocious shooting guard in this league. I don't know. All right, guys. That's going to be it for me. Kids are getting ready to get off of school. We'll talk about that on Monday. And we'll go over all of that. But nonetheless, it's the weekend. Have a fantastic one. Make it the best weekend you can. Do something fun. Enjoy the weather outside if it's nice outside. If it's not, stay inside and watch movies. But either way, make it the best weekend you can. As always, I appreciate everybody watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, share the podcast with a friend. I deeply appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys. Have a fantastic weekend. For Sports Talk with Hawk, I am Hawk, and I'm out. I'll see you guys on Monday.